I've got 2 o'clock on my end. Should I kick this off now and get rolling?
Here you go. Yep.
Awesome. Well, let's rock. Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to kick off today's webinar by thanking you for choosing to attend the second of our 4-part webinar series, the 4 Vital Solutions for NIST 800-171 Compliance. This webinar series is intended to spotlight the key partners we recommend to further your organization in becoming compliant. Today's briefing will focus exclusively on Yubico and their multi-mode, multi-protocol 2-factor authentication products, which are required in the remediation of several NIST controls. In addition, Yubico's ease of deployment, and more importantly, their ease of management reduces the burden on security teams, making their life easier as they manage your organization's security policies, posture, as well as other technologies. To quickly introduce myself, I'm Mark Porto. I'm the Managing Director at Gulfstream Cybersecurity. Over the years, I've worked closely with the Department of Defense and federal systems integrators to help them achieve full-spectrum cyber situational awareness. This utilizes a wide array of technology, usually including Yubico's YubiKeys. I'm sure most of you are aware the Deputy Secretary of Defense and the Secretary of the Navy recently announced that they'll place even more pressure on DoD contractors to meet the higher cybersecurity standards. And they'll hold large contractors responsible for ensuring that their subs do the same. The DoD now plans to launch red team cyber attacks on industrial partners utilizing nation-state tactics and procedures to breach contractor systems. The Navy contractors now have to agree to allow the NCIS the ability to remotely deploy agents to monitor and proactively hunt for malicious payload on contractor systems. Our Gulfstream Cyber executive team has engaged with hundreds of defense contractors very similar to your companies and fully understand what keeps you up at night. While your C-level executives direct you to meet the new DFARS clauses, they challenge you to do so without increasing costs, increasing workload, disrupting any aspects of the business, or by adding any additional staff. Not to mention, you're still tasked with responding to the day-to-day emergencies of your organization. My team's mission at Gulfstream is simply to bring you the most effective, highest rated, least expensive, and least complicated solutions to meet the technical controls of NIST. In addition, Gulfstream is happy to assist in the deployment and the management of these tools on an ongoing basis with a simple, as-needed approach to services. To very quickly highlight some of our partners, we'll learn a lot about Yubico, but we work closely with Yubico and their multi-protocol, multi-factor authentication security keys. Their technology aside, they're known to be the easiest to deploy, easiest to use, and have the highest user experience rating while offering the highest level of security. We work closely with Forescout, who are the you can't protect what you can't see people. They provide the level of visibility required to know what's touching the network, classification of those network devices, the ability to create policies for those devices, and ultimately the management of those devices through automation. We work closely with FireEye, who provides advanced cyber defense, nation-state grade cyber threat intelligence, pre- and post-breach expertise, and the ability to automate cyber operations. Indigi supports our customers' ICS and SCADA environments through their advanced cyber analytics and defense tools. Lastly, we work with Titus, who delivers document data loss protection through identifying, classifying, and securing data based solely on its content. It should be no surprise that our technology partners and their solutions are complementary to one another. Our partners are aligned corporately and at the engineering and product development levels. Their tools are designed to work in tandem and ultimately provide full-spectrum cyber situational awareness. At the conclusion of today's webinar, we'll send you information on those that I've quickly mentioned. Today's Yubico guests are Tristan Swigert, who's the account executive supporting the federal and system integrator community, and Claire Galbois, who's Yubico's marketing manager. I've asked Claire and Tristan to provide an executive-level overview of Yubico, their high-level technical briefing on their products, and their unique approach to multi-factor authentication. We hope and plan to have time for Q&A after the brief, but Claire and Tristan, thank you again for your support. I'm now passing the mic over to you to kick off the briefing.
Thank you, Mark. So let me just give you a short introduction on Yubico. My name is Claire Galbois-Kex. I am Marketing Director at Yubico for the channel team. And I just wanted to give you a very quick overview. So we'll start with the first slide, please. So to give you a little bit of a flavor for Yubico, the company was founded in 2007 with a mission to make secure access ubiquitous for all users. And you will see on the slide that Yubico's customers include a range of organizations, governments, financial companies, 9 of the 10 internet companies. And these customers trust Yubico to protect login and access to computers, to phones, to networks, and to services. So if we look at the next slide, Yubico helps organizations in a variety of ways. So today we're going to focus on how Yubico and our security key called the YubiKey can help prevent account takeover. We will look at how Yubico can help defense contractors and suppliers meet DFARS requirements. And we will present a secure and a modern authentication method to help you deploy strong authentication in a very rapid way, and just in a way that is not going to compromise security and ease of use. If we start and look a little bit at details on the next slide, we'll start with the number one security problem for a lot of organizations, and that's going to be stolen credentials. So how can Yubico help you? Well, Yubico provides a secure and simple solution to prevent account takeovers. More than 80% of data breaches today are the result of stolen passwords or other weak logging methods. And the YubiKey is a simple way to provide advanced phishing protection to stop those account takeovers. How does it work? So we look at the next presentation slide. So the YubiKey is a very simple and easy to use technology with a simple touch authentication. On that, YubiKey will help reduce IT helpdesk calls. So for example, if you think about your current helpdesk calls, there's a good chance that between 20 and 50% of those calls are going to be linked to password reset. And one way you can reduce these is by just having a much simpler way to manage authentication. And that's one way where Yubico is going to allow you to significantly reduce these IT support costs. If we look at the next slide, you will obviously all already be aware of the growing compliance mandate on Department of Defense suppliers, on contractors. And this is a mandate to implement security controls to help secure contractor information systems. So that will include the use of FIPS-validated devices. That will include improving security at both contractors and subcontractor levels. And there is a very good chance that this is going to be something that you want to implement really rapidly. On the next slide, we're going to show you a quote that came up quite recently from the Secretary of the Navy, Mr. Gertz, and he outlined urgent and specific requirements to demonstrate DFARS compliance. And that's one of the things that we're going to help you address today. Next slide, please. So how can Yubico help you solve your authentication challenge? Well, there are many ways on many authentication solutions, and you might already be familiar with some of those today. To improve security of your login, historically, there has been a trade-off between security and ease of use. So if you look at software authentication in the form of passwords, mobile apps, SMS, they do not offer enough protection against modern phishing or man-in-the-middle attacks, while at the other end of the scale, you have other hardware technologies like the smart cards that will provide very advanced security, but will require complex or costly infrastructure. So Yubico changes the way your authentication is going to work. And maybe I can show you on the next slide how that works. So the YubiKey combines usability, security, and will help with return investment. How does it work? Well, very simply, it's very easy to use. The other great advantage, and we'll have a look a little bit at how it works in more details, but the other advantage as well is that you can use the same key to secure all your systems. And we did talk already a little bit about reducing IT cost. I think one of the other things I want to mention at this point is that it's very quick to deploy, and that will help you meet your DFARS requirements very rapidly as well. So we're going to go a little bit more in details on how all this works. And let me hand you over to my colleague Tristan, who is going to tell you a little bit about Yubico's customer experience on some of the case studies we've addressed.
Hey, Tristan, this is Mark. I think you might have your mute on.
Okay. Thank you for pointing that out, Mark. Thanks for the introduction, Claire. I think it's important to note, due to the nature of our business, we can't reveal the customer name in this case study. But what we tend to see across the board for government contractors is the need for 2FA, but more importantly, the need for 2FA for workstation login. So the way we help companies accomplish this is by using the YubiKey as a smart card. The smart card is a built-in protocol, which is one of many protocols built into the YubiKey. And I'll go into more detail on how we stand that up. But what we see across the board with government contractors is the need for 2FA into the workstation, and that is accomplished by using the YubiKey as a smart card. So to give you guys a little bit of an overview of what the user flow would look like when using the YubiKey in your environment, your typical login flow is going to look like something along the lines of entering your username and password. In this case, if you're using the smart card, it'd be a username and PIN. Simply insert the YubiKey, tap the authenticator, which has a capacitive switch, which senses the electricity from your finger and pushes through the certificate. Very easy to use. We're using asymmetric cryptography when you're using the YubiKey as a smart card. So overall, a very secure solution, very easy to use. You're not adding too much additional layers for your users. Username, PIN, tap of the YubiKey, you're into your systems. So we do have a multi-protocol key, which allows you to unlock multiple different systems. What we tend to see in the government contracting space is people utilizing the PIV functionality. And PIV and smart card can be used interchangeably in conversation, but that is used for native computer login using a certificate authority. And you can load multiple certificates onto the YubiKey to allow for multiple different workstation logins. But we do have other built-in protocols to allow for different systems. Some of the protocols that Yubico is very well known for are FIDO2 and FIDO-U2F. Both these protocols we wrote in conjunction with Google and Microsoft. Those can be used for a variety of different web services. We can dig more into the protocols in the Q&A at the end, but I do want to emphasize using the YubiKey for a smart card is most popular among the government contractor community. To give you an idea of some of the different form factors we have to offer, we do have the Yubico FIPS line, which is FIPS 140-2 qualified. We have it in the USB-A keychain form factor. We also have it in the nano form factor, which is meant to be left in the computer. And then we also have the same versions available in USB-C form factor. We also have the Yubico 5 series, which allows for NFC on the USB-A. And then we have the additional form factors allowing for those nano use cases, allowing the Yubico to be left in the machine. Additionally, when we talk about using the Yubico as a smart card, we are using native Microsoft tooling. We are standing up a certificate authority in order to make this happen. We do have the UB HSM to help protect that CA. It is a very small form factor. It is identical to our USB-A Nano, and it's very cost effective, and the form factor allows for multiple different use cases, but we do emphasize using the HSM to protect your certificate authority. Going back to all the different protocols that we use, we've opened up a large ecosystem of integrations. So we can definitely help you with the workstation login, whether that be for Windows, Mac, Linux, but we've also opened up a huge ecosystem of integrations by having a multi-protocol key. So if you're using any of the solutions listed on the page, we do have a formal documented integration with those companies. This is a small snapshot of our current integration list. We currently have over 400 integrations. So in summary, you can use the Yubico to prevent account takeovers, enable compliance, and have a modern authentication strategy. With that being said, that's the end of our presentation. I'll now hand it back over to Mark for Q&A.
Thank you very much, Tristan and Claire. I do have a couple of questions that have come in, and if you don't mind, I'm just going to read them off of the screen. First question, we understand that Yubico's customers have provided a very high customer satisfaction rating. In your opinion, what factors contribute to this?
Sure. So the customer satisfaction rating is a combination of our keys having the best level of security with the best ease of use. So we are utilizing public key, private key cryptography to ensure the highest level of security. And then with the actual tap to authenticate mechanism on the Yubico, makes it extremely easy for users to log in, and it allows for high user adoption. That's where we receive those high ratings for customer satisfaction.
Awesome, thank you. Here is another question. Some organizations have 300 users, others have 30,000. Can you discuss scalability?
Sure. So the Yubico can work at scale. We do have deployments using the Yubico as a smart card, anywhere from small organizations of 50 users all the way up to 50,000. When you get into the larger deployments, we do integrate with other CMS vendors, but for any mid-sized company, any small company, even if you're 10,000, 20,000 employees, you can use the Yubico as a smart card, utilizing all the native Microsoft tooling. And in this case, we would stand up a CA. That CA can be very robust. And depending on what policies we put in place, we can deploy in your environment fairly seamlessly.
Awesome. This is my question. Can you please describe for the folks on the call the best ways for anybody who's interested in Yubico to determine if Yubico is the right fit for them? What types of activities should they request of us, and how could we best help them?
That's a great question. So I think anyone that is interested in reviewing the Yubico solution in more depth should definitely reach out to the folks at Gulfstream Security. We can connect on a call. We can conduct an audit of your current environment and infrastructure. From there, we can then propose the right Yubico solution for your environment.
All right, thank you. Here's a couple more that have come in. Their question is, we have plenty of folks using tablets or laptops in industrial environments. Is there a danger that they'll break off?
So the YubiKeys are extremely strong. We do have a proprietary plastic injection molding, which injects plastic completely over the motherboard. They're very strong. You will probably lose one before breaking one.
Okay, here's another one. Is Oath with YubiKey protected from phishing, unlike SMS and other general methods?
So this is a fairly technical question. I recommend that we save that for a call with one of our solution engineers.
Okay, here's another question. Is there a renewal license fee like other MFA solutions?
There is not. So the YubiKey is a one-time capital expenditure.
Awesome. That exhausts the list of questions that I have in front of me and on the screen. But attendees, please feel free to shoot a text, and I'll gladly ask the questions and get answers. Well, I think we are good. Thank you, Team Yubico, for your time and the brief. I thought it was helpful, and thank you very much to the participants who chose to dial in and spend the 2 o'clock hour with us. We will follow up with some documentation, and happy to answer any questions you have offline, as well as provide a customized briefing specific to your organizations or any of the requirements that you have. Thank you.